So, Neverwinter. As you can see, two people have DC'd. I'm the healer, a devoted cleric, and I'm waiting for them to reconnect. Very patiently, I might add. The problem with Neverwinter is nobody wants to play a healer or a tank. Everybody wants to play the big bad great weapons fighter. Now the thing about a great weapons fighter is any idiot can play them. They have like no skill. There's a standard build for it. It's really simple, and no matter how powerful they are, they don't ever learn strategy. It's quite fun to have a low-level weapons fighter, great weapons fighter, in dungeons that require DPS to use strategy, because they epically fail. So these people are reconnecting. One came back. I'm just waiting for these guys. All day long, people scream to have a devoted cleric to help them with the really hard level dungeons. I don't like to play the end game content in Neverwinter because people are jerks. And what I'm going to show you here is an example of some jerks. So look at this guy. He's got some blues. He's got some oranges. You know, he's cranked up here to do a lot of damage. That's the other problem with most great weapons fighters and DPS in general. All they want to do is be number one on most damage dealt. Doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter. So I'm just showing you this guy's gear. He's all decked out here. Yep, he's definitely a beast. I prefer to play the content usually 2 or 3 mods back. You get better groups of people that are relaxed and having fun. Also, you get overgeared guys like this that join your instance, and you'll definitely get it done because you could probably solo the whole thing. So I was just looking at some of the new gear, the higher levels, while I'm waiting for these people that are DC'd. And you'll see. I wait quite patiently for quite a while here. So it looks like they're on their way back. There's a bug. I don't know if it's with all dungeons or just Castle Never, but you discover these bonfires, and it's supposed to update your last spawn point so that you can respawn close to where you were. So this part of Castle Never, you go in and you have to avoid these orbs, and there's some enemies in there which a lot of people like to skip. Well, most healers get owned when they skip them. So, and then it's a mess. But this run, I get pretty lucky with my dodge ability, and I go through pretty smoothly. As you'll see, I go right through this one. I dodge it. But as you can see, I waited quite a long time for those people to reconnect and everything. I didn't kick them. I didn't do anything like that. So being the healer, you know, trying to keep up, keep everybody alive. I managed to dodge 2 in a row, which doesn't always happen. I'm trying to keep ahead of those orbs to get to the end point. Now here's one of those bonfires I was talking about. Now I stand in the bonfire, which should respawn me right there if I die, but it doesn't. So I'm waiting once again for these guys. Now we're going to start the last boss fight. And you got to realize all day long you can hear people screaming for devoted clerics. For some reason they want them instead of pally healers. But, you know, I believe that any healer and any tank can work together and carry most noob DPS. So DPS in general makes things faster, but I've seen healers and tanks do everything together. So we're fighting along, doing this number. We get this tether that apparently if you get close, it does a lot of damage to you both, probably kill you. So I stay far away. I'm healing them when I can, building up my action points to give them all a lot of temporary hit points when I can. And by no means do I think I'm the best, you know, devoted cleric or anything, but I'm fairly decent. And I'm just popping off skills to get my action points up again. Now at the end of these dungeons, you know, when you complete it and you kill the boss, there's generally a chest. And that chest is, you know, lots of times how you get your better loot. You know, your better gear, your better equipment. That's how you know, get your gear score up and do harder and harder dungeons in Neverwinter. And what you're going to see is, while we're fighting the Orcus here, I'm going to keep everybody alive, but I'm going to go down. When I die, normally somebody would pick you up, you know, especially when the boss is so close to death. Like, if you have a little bit of boss health, you kill off the boss, then you run over and pick people up, you know. Because obviously you want to finish it, you don't want to fail. And that's fine. I try not, when I die, I try not to over ping. So like, I should have moved, whatever, I'm an old man. But I ping once or twice. Now the boss is dead. Any one of them can come pick me up. They got plenty of time. I'm pinging again. I'm waiting. Now, nobody came over. Didn't even attempt to pick me up. Now I'm the healer. Now I respawn. And check it out. I'm at the very beginning. And I'm injured, which means I gotta go through all the enemies that are left. And I have to dodge all those circles just to get my chest loot. So my question to most players is, how do you possibly expect your clerics to level up when, yeah, see that guy, he's number 1 DPS, like I was saying. But how do you possibly level up a cleric when people don't even pick you up so you can get your loot from the chest? It's ridiculous. I mean, these guys are total jerks. And this is why I hate to play the end game of Neverwinter. So I gotta run all the way back because nobody picked me up. Check this out. And you know, if I had to run all the way back and there were no enemies, that wouldn't be too bad. But not these guys. You know, they gotta skip enemies so that there's enemies left. You'll see there's like a room full of enemies coming up. And all of them can one-shot my cleric. And then I gotta dodge the balls, and then if I fail, I gotta go back. And they all left. They're all gone. They all left the instance. They got their chest. They're all fat and happy. So, but you can bet when I get another instance with these guys, I'm going to vote to kick every one of them. I'm not going to heal or do anything. And they wonder why, you know, nobody wants to help them when they get to things where they need a cleric. And it's the same with tanking. So, I'm just sitting here waiting for this injury to come off. You gotta sit in these bonfires unless you have an injury kit. Generally, you don't get injured if you have VIP. Mine ran out. And I really don't know if I want to renew it or not because of jerks like this. So while I'm waiting, I just clean up my inventory. Maybe I'd use some stuff. Look at the drop I got, whatnot. My injury's gone. And of course it tells me you're injured. It's just an idiot programmer. So I'm running along, trying to get to my chest. And just the time it takes to get back, even if there were no enemies or things to dodge, would be a pain. And Neverwinter puts a portal to leave right here, which you can click on and not get your loot. But I persevere. And I go through this whole thing from the beginning. This is just wonderful. Oh, here comes a ball. Generally these balls have a little pattern. You just wait for them to go by and then scoot by them. So it's not too bad if there's no enemies. See, here's some enemies. I almost walked by them, but there's this little side exit you can go through, so I jump through there. I got pretty lucky on the timing of these balls. And I gotta dodge even though my ally died. See, I should have spawned right there at that bonfire. But there's some kind of bug in Neverwinter. It doesn't update your bonfires, even though it says it does. It says new bonfire discovered or whatever. New spawn point discovered. So here's the chest way over here. And I'm lucky I got my loot. You know, other players that aren't so lucky probably quit. Nothing too special, but still it helps with your enchantments and upgrading things. So anyway, that's all.